Ladies and gentlemen, what do we mean by visual aids? AIDS, not Cliff sort of AIDS. Go to the doctors, I've got AIDS, not that sort. But don't we attach some weird phrases to things? The other day, I was passing a pub. I didn't go in the pub. That's not a story. And I close past this person in the room. I saw a lorry delivering beer, but it's not called delivering beer. It's called drinks logistics. So when I started using visual aids, it meant I was doing an illustrated talk. So, illustrated talk, what on? Right, does anyone know this gentleman? Reginald Joseph Mitchell? Has anyone seen the film, The First of the Few, celebrating the Spitfire? There's a gentleman. Yes. Yeah, see it? Ah. Yeah, yes, indeed, Leslie Howard, indeed, yes. Now, Mr. Mitchell was an aircraft designer, an engineer, famous for the Spitfire, which was a fighter plane which rather altered the outcome of the Second World War, and it was looking a bit dodgy. Apologies to people who wasn't around then. And the film, The First of the Few, Leslie Howard. So, an inspiring story, a story of great determination, a sad story in some ways. Right, let's have a quick run through. Now borrow the lecture. Move over here a bit. Let me see, or I can put it and point with my, not a tatty pen, this is a visual aid. Okay. R.J. Mitchell, key dates. 1917 starts at Supermarine in Southampton. An upwardly mobile gentleman. 1919 he was chief engineer. 1920 the technical director. Then Vickers took over the firm, and they insisted that Mitchell came as their chief designer and technical director. So his reputation went before him. Now, besides doing the Spitfire, he also pioneered a very high-speed seaplane, which won the Schneider Trophy in 1931. So all looking good for Mr. Mitchell. 1932, he was awarded the CBE for his services to high-speed aviation. Then sadly, this is where the resolve comes in. He went for a routine medical check for a holiday and was discovered to have a rather nasty illness, which the first of the few rather glossed over, if you remember. Didn't state what was wrong with him. He had a rectal cancer which required major surgery, which left him sort of semi-invalid. But nonetheless, he carried on. His goal was to produce this plane that he thought would be the salvation of his country, and indeed it was. Now, here's a gentleman who's had half his bowel taken out. Remember, in the 30s they didn't talk about things below the belt, and cancer was a great no-no. But he admitted to what he had, and he took flying lessons and obtained a pilot's license, one of the few engineers and designers to get a pilot license. Okay, then this operation was a fairly major one, but it seemed to have done the trick. And for 2 years, he was in reasonable health, but he continued to have certain medical problems, and he continued to work. Great resolution, determination, whatever you like to call it. He had his goal, which is what we're all aiming at, isn't it? Goals in life. So he continued during that time to work on the Spitfire and various other bombers and other things which played a part in the war. Now, in 1937, or end of 36, the cancer returned, and he went, ironically, in view of what happened with some of his inventions, to Vienna for some last-ditch pioneering treatment for the cancer. And inevitably, it wasn't successful because secondary tumours had spread to the rest of the body. And he went home, and his son, Gordon Mitchell, a most remarkable gentleman in his own right, tells a sad tale of how his father was sitting in the garden, the back garden of his house in Portswood, Southampton, just up the road from my parents. And it was a bright sunny day in June, and he was wearing his overcoat and shivering. So as it had gone to him, got right through. But he continued to work, finally dying on the 11th of June. And I think he was one of those people who was very upfront. He said what was wrong with him. He saw no reason why having an illness stopped him working, aiming for his goals, and so on, reaching for the sky, as another wartime film says. There we are, resolution, determination. No matter how bad it looks, there's something worse that someone else has been through, and that's how we take our inspiration in life. Thank you, Mr. Thompson.